we will use ChatGPT to help us perform some typical Excel tasks. Now, beginning with this small data set, I want to calculate the percent change between last year and this year. And I'm going to ask ChatGPT's help to perform this. I'm in ChatGPT and I've got my prompt in the box ready to be sent in. We've spoken previously how we can upload Excel workbooks and upload images to support our prompt and our questions. But I think in this example, we have enough substance there. I'm asking it for a calculation to perform percentage change, and I'm even giving it the cells that contain the necessary values. It's short, it's concise, and it has the context to get the job done. I'll send this in, and this response is very quick back. It has the formula I need. It then explains how I can show it as a percentage. Now, I'm not going to do it in that way. I'm going to use the buttons, but fair enough, that is true. It even then goes on to offer an if function to handle a scenario where there is no value for the previous year. And if I scroll down, also one with a custom message. So more information than really I needed or wanted for this example, but it is showing the effectiveness of ChatGPT. Now, if I just scroll back up again, and I'll take a copy of that first formula, because that is lovely for what I need. And back in Excel, I'm going to create a new column here called percent change. I'll quickly paste in the formula they provided, and I'll send that down. Perform the formatting. I'm going to use the percent button on the ribbon as opposed to the formula they offered, as that would have converted it to text. Maybe I'll show a decimal point while I'm here. And I'll also quickly format that header by using my format painter to be consistent. So ChatGPT, no problem there, offering that formula to help me out. And we're going to explore formulas further in a later module of this course. So for now, let's quickly move on and see ChatGPT help with our next task. And our next task is going to be to format the values that we've just created with the formula to show a red colour if it's negative and a green colour if it is positive. Now, I've got the prompt ready at the bottom, and I'm actually following on this same conversation that generated that formula. And because of that, I can refer to it in context and say that I want to format the results of this formula. If the number's bigger than 0, I want a specified colour. I've even provided the hexadecimal reference there. And if it's negative, I want to format in this colour. I'll send that in. Okay, super fast. It lists the goal and the steps and is using conditional formatting. Exactly what we hoped for. Now notice it's asking us to select the cell or the range of cells, and it references cell F3. So it's assuming based on the previous prompt that column F is where our results are. And that's true, so well done. But it is just an example. So it has those initial steps there, 1, 2, 3, going via new rule and format only cells that contain. Then it says how we can specify it's greater than 0 and how to enter that hex code, and then the same for the other one. And a very nice that's it at the bottom. Okay, let's do this. I'm going to take a copy of that hex code. I'll just demonstrate doing one of these, and let's go into Excel and get it done. So in Excel, I'll select the range as specified, conditional formatting on home, and personally I'd go through highlight cells rules here to get to greater than. But if I was to follow ChatGPT, they said click on new rule, so let me do that. They said format only cells that contain, and then they asked me to change it from cell value to greater than, enter 0, and then follow the steps of format, fill, more colours, custom, and then to paste in the hex code. From here, I can OK my way out, and these are exactly the steps that ChatGPT asked us to perform, and we are successful, and then we'd repeat it for the negative values. But as I say, I don't think you need to see me do that again. So let's move on to our final prompt, which is going to be to stop those headers in row 2 disappearing as I scroll down the sheet like this. So my final prompt is in ChatGPT ready, and I want to stop those headers disappearing as I scroll down the sheet. Now again, I'm continuing this same conversation. So I have not told ChatGPT where my headers are. I'm hoping they'll make that assumption from our previous conversation together about that formula that we used from row 3. But let's see how we do. So the response we've got from ChatGPT is very effective, and it tells us exactly what we need to do. It did not pick up on my headers this time, which is a slight shame, but the answer is still correct. It goes first of all to mention how to freeze the top row. That's not going to help us really because our data's in the second row. But as I scroll down to the alternative, the one that we want, it explains in step 1 there how we need to click on the cell below the row and to the right of the column that we want to freeze. And that's the information that, for me, if I was asking for assistance and learning how to do this, that's what I needed to know. I'm now going to follow those steps in Excel. So here we go in Excel. I'm going to click in the cell below the row that I want to freeze. So that's A3. And view, freeze panes, just as they stated in the ChatGPT window. And the job is done.